Hello, everyone. Welcome to Trades Talk. I am your host, Pop Culture Mechanic. Call me Pop for short. So on this stream, I do a little less pop culture and a lot more mechanicking. So I hope that's what you expected, because that's what you're in for. And before I get started here, hello to Angry Canadian. Hey, buddy, how you doing? Yeah, you got me on while you're learning to code. Well, I sure hope I don't distract you too much. I don't know much about coding, so hopefully, it helps you out. That's that constant learning. That's how you get through life. If you always are constantly learning, you'll always be evolving and improving. And it also helps get a better job, because that's what we like to talk about here. We like to talk about having good jobs, obtaining them, how to get them, how to keep them. That kind of goes back to my last stream where I talked a lot about training. So training and learning stuff is exactly what you need for a good job. And hello, DJ Ronnie G. You're going to trade a Wartortle for a Charizard. Well, this isn't the kind of trades we're talking about. Pokemon stuff, you'd have to wait till probably, Saturday when I do game streaming. Then we can talk about Pokemon stuff. Hey, David Glenn, how you doing? Nice to see you. Oh, yeah, and this morning I watched, before I went to work, I got to catch some of Angry Canadian's stream where he played Sonic. Good stream. I liked it. Very enjoyable. It was on Rumble only. And I've been wondering about doing Rumble exclusives only. I'm curious whether that's a good idea or not. You guys, let me know what you think. So next up, I'll hit up what I usually do, and that's talk about or check what's in the news out in industry. Usually you can tell how good the economy is by what's going on in the news and in the industrial side, whether they're building more facilities or shutting them down. Here's an interesting one. Ford Motor Company delays the start of EV production at their Oakville, Ontario plant until 2027. Ford Motor Company is delaying the start of electric vehicle production in its plant in Oakville, Ontario by 2 years. The U.S. automaker has planned to start production at the Canadian plant, which employs 2,700 workers, in 2025 and is pushing that back to 2027. Wonder why that is. Ford announced plans last year to spend $1.8 billion to transform its Oakville assembly plant into a hub for electric vehicle manufacturing, including vehicle and battery pack assembly. It says work to overhaul the plant will begin in the second quarter of this year as planned, but the launch of the new 3-row electric vehicles to be produced at the factory won't happen until 2027. The delay will give the consumer market more time to develop, the company said, and allow for further development of EV battery technology. So it sounds like they're being very wary here about electric vehicles. They might know something already, that they're not going to be the way of the future, especially with them trying to mandate that everyone go to electric. There's going to be a lot of pushback, so we'll see how this goes. But they're not going to blow money on stuff that's not going to pan out and do well for them. Because if they have to spend in the billions to upgrade their facility, they're going to want to see a return on investment for sure. And not just taxpayer dollars either. From the government, I mean. Some employees will remain on site during plant transformation, but there will be layoffs, Ford spokesman said Thursday. He noted that employees are eligible for income security benefits for a period that varies with seniority levels. The company said it will work with Unifor, which represents 3,200 workers at the plant, to mitigate the impact the delay will have on its workforce. Unifor said it wants Ford to consider all possible options to lessen the negative effects on workers from the substantial delay in the EV production launch at the Oakville plant. Unifor is extremely disappointed by the company's decision. Our members have done nothing but build best-in-class vehicles for Ford Motor Company, and they deserve certainty in the company's future production plans, said Unifor National President Lana Payne. Well, I don't know about best-in-class vehicles. I mean, How good can they be coming off a production line? Plant transformation, just SDF1. Yeah, there you go, DJ. Hey, Alex Moore, how you doing? Cheers to my Macross watching buddy. I say that because he's watching Macross Frontier like right now. The article goes on. I want to be very clear here. Our members can be assured that we will push the company to explore every single possible opportunity to lessen the impact of this decision on them and their families. Ford President and CEO Jim Farley said the delay is a long-term decision. We value our Canadian teammates and appreciate that this delay will have an impact on this excellent team. Ford President and CEO Jim Farley said in a statement, "We are fully committed to manufacturing in Canada and believe this decision will help us build a profitable, growing business for the long term." The Oakville site includes 3 body shops, 1 paint building, and 1 assembly building. Ford has said the planned changes at the site include a new battery plant, where workers will assemble parts produced at Ford's U.S. operations into battery packs that will be installed in vehicles assembled on site. The company's spending plans were first announced in 2020 as part of the union negotiations with workers seeking long-term production commitments. The Detroit 3 automakers eventually agreed to invest in Canadian operations in concert with spending agreements with the Ontario and federal governments. The 2 governments agreed to provide $295 million each in funding to secure the Ford investment. So the governments provided money to secure Ford's investment. Read that last line. The governments provided money, $295 million, to Ford. It's a payoff. Using taxpayer money to fund private business. Read it loud and clear. Yep. Well, let's see what this one says. This sounds a little bit more interesting. General Fusion partners with Canadian Nuclear Laboratories on commercial power plant design. Canada already has its a reactor design I've heard of before. It's called the CANDU reactor. It's supposed to be a lot smaller footprint and work a little better, but we'll see what they're going to do here. General Fusion has launched a new project in collaboration with Canadian Nuclear Laboratories to advance the design of its commercial fusion power plant. Delivered through CNL's Canadian Nuclear Research Initiative, the project will examine and propose efficient and cost-effective designs to integrate the fusion machine, balance of plant, and power conversion systems in a power plant using General Fusion's practical magnetized target fusion technology. General Fusion is currently working to build a commercial pilot plant to provide electricity from clean fusion energy to the grid by early to mid-2030s. CNL has previously supported this project through its CNRI program, providing General Fusion with recommendations related to tritium breeding technologies and tritium management facilities, which could be coupled with the company's commercial power plant. Now General Fusion will leverage CNL's expertise, capabilities, and advanced facilities in power plant design, licensing, and operations. Specifically, CNL will support the design work underway to select a tritium extraction method for an MTF commercial power plant and interconnecting technologies for all these systems. I mean, just throwing it out there, I don't know why they're not doing something with thorium. I've heard a lot of good things about thorium, so I don't know why they aren't concentrating on that as a power source for nuclear. But they want to keep doing these things. And fusion is tough to do. This is what the sun does. It's so hot and it's got so much pressure it can split those helium atoms. But yeah, it's something to think about, I guess. Tritium is easier to fuse than deuterium or plain hydrogen. Okay, thank you, David. I had no idea. So they're gonna try to use that element, the tritium. This is some mad scientist talk. You agree, Ronnie G? Yeah. The highly detailed work will also evaluate and select specific materials and components, such as heat exchangers, power conversion technologies. As a result, General Fusion will refine its design for a practical and economical power plant that is cost competitive. In a commercial power plant, General Fusion's proprietary liquid metal liner in the fusion machine will be mechanically compressed by an array of pistons. This approach addresses the material degradation, fuel production, energy capture, and cost barriers other fusion technologies still face. Canada has a strong fusion ecosystem, with General Fusion leading the private sector and Canadian nuclear laboratories providing world-class fusion R&D, said Greg Twinney, CEO of General Fusion. Our LM26 fusion demonstration machine is progressing rapidly towards game-changing technical milestones in the next 2 years. At the same time, we're preparing to deploy clean fusion power to the grid with our practical approach, including advancing our commercial power plant design with top experts and renowned partners like CNL. Fusion will always be 30 years away. We shouldn't be holding our breath for fusion. When it's ready, bring it online, but it's no reason to avoid other options. Yeah. What's to say, or what's to keep big oil from going, you know what, that thing is too clean and it doesn't use oil, so we'll buy it from you and then shelve it for 50 years or something like that. It just, there's going to be too many people it's going to affect. If you make clean, low-cost nuclear power, what's to stop other people who have like hydroelectric or oil or anything like that from getting really upset and deciding, you know what, we should sabotage this thing. There really isn't much stopping them from doing that. The CNRI program was established by CNL to accelerate the development and deployment of next-generation reactors and fusion technologies, and has facilitated major research projects with partners all around the world since its launch in 2019. As Canada's National Nuclear Laboratory, it is within our mandate to help advance a promising pipeline of fusion technologies, said Dr. Stephen Bushby, Vice President, Science and Technology, CNL. We're thrilled to continue collaborating with General Fusion and look forward to leveraging our expertise in reactor design and tritium R&D to enable progress in this exciting area of clean energy. I like how they say clean energy, but it's like, have you ever heard of nuclear waste with spent fuel rods? That's not very clean. So stop lying to me and telling me that it's clean energy when you have to deal with the nuclear residue, which has a half-life of however many thousands of years before it's non-radioactive. I just can't stand it when they just lie to your face like that. Any thorium reactor advocates here? I did mention thorium, but I'd like to see it in action. But I don't know if anybody's going to even try to build one. You might get disappeared if you decide to do something like that. You never know. Just remember Stanley Meyer. He got disappeared for building a car that runs on water. So all the mining has to take place beforehand. Yes, you got to get the stuff out of the ground. That's a lot of work to do, and it's going to do a lot of pollution. Any kind of mining makes a lot of pollution. The Europeans have a good nuclear waste project. Oh, okay. No, that's good. I mean, there has to be something to be done with it to properly dispose of it. In the U.S., they interfere with transport. I mean, people just get in the way of the vehicles. And think about this. Where did the nuclear waste come from? Yes. Where did it come from? Where's it going? Oh, the ore. Okay. I see now. So that's pretty much a very light news day. I tried looking on some other sites to get some news that was going on, but this is all I could find. So just 2 articles today. That's kind of sad, but not too much. Here we are. This is from News Nation. Yes, mind the aquifer. Do not poison our water supply. America needs more skilled trade workers. Here's what's being done about it. So this is for you guys in America. It says states enacted 115 career and technical education policies in 2023. Federal legislation has also been introduced to address the worker shortage. and combating the negative stigma around trades jobs remains a challenge. I don't know why that is so far. It's been so long, since there should be a stigma. I mean, nowadays, you see plumbers and welders and all that driving around in these $100,000 trucks and all that. I mean, that should tell you a lot. When they roll up with some nice new vehicles, those are your 75 cents on the matter. I appreciate that, those 3 quarters there, DJ. All right, let's see what this has to say. Written by Andrew Dorn, News Nation. America needs more skilled trades workers, and data suggests states have taken notice. Last year, 47 states enacted 115 policies related to career and technical education, or CTE. According to Advance CTE, a nonprofit that represents state CTE directors, those efforts have expanded work-based learning opportunities and funding for jobs training programs that go beyond the traditional high school and college learning model. Tune in Wednesday, April 10th for a special edition of CUOMO with Mike Rowe, media personality and CEO of MicroWorks Foundation, which is focused on elevating and encouraging blue-collar jobs. Not sure how to watch News Nation? Use our channel finder. Yeah, okay. Mike Rowe, I remember him from Dirty Jobs, and he wasn't afraid to get in there and do just the most heinous-looking jobs you ever saw. But that's good if he's speaking up and how to elevate and encourage more blue-collar jobs. Nothing wrong with blue-collar. Not at all. Don't let anybody tell you that there is anything wrong. A guy I used to work with walked into the local electrical union office and got a job as an apprentice with no experience. And that's perfectly fine. That's awesome. I like hearing stories like that, where somebody who's just eager to work and learn, and they go in off the street and they're like, I don't have any experience. And they're like, you know what? That's okay. You're going to get some experience. So come on and we'll teach you. That's what I like to hear. The recent push suggests states realize more needs to be done to address a decades-long turn away from vocational education, which has led to a shortage of skilled tradespeople. Shop classes that used to be common in American high schools have dwindled. From 1982 to 2013. The number of CTE credits earned by high school students fell by more than 26%. Labor crisis. Why is there a shortage of plumbers and electricians? There's a real disconnect between the focus that we've placed on our education and training systems around college for all and how much economic opportunity is available through the skilled trades right now, said Zach Mabel, a research professor at the Georgetown University Center on Education and Workforce. Boosting the skilled trades workforce will be especially important as more opportunities become available due to federal legislation like bipartisan infrastructure law and the CHIPS and Science Act, Mabel pointed out. I'm not sure what those are because I don't live in America and I don't pay attention to their legislation that they pass. What's being done to address the labor shortage? Some states are addressing the skilled trade workers shortage by passing laws that would make learning opportunities more accessible. Last year, Iowa Governor Kim Reynolds signed a law establishing a state apprenticeship office to make it easier for residents to obtain portable and transferable credentials in high-demand careers. The office also aims to make programs involving high school students more efficient. So that's what we have in Canada. We do have apprenticeship boards and apprenticeship offices that keep track and help you be enrolled in and get your studying done. America's representatives don't pay attention either. Yeah, I'm sure it's just whoever tells them which way to vote with the biggest check, right? It's like, oh, here's this much of a donation. You should vote this way. And they do. Let's see. Oh, yes. In Arkansas, the recently passed LEARNS Act gives students the option to earn a high school diploma through a career-ready pathway. The requirements, which are still being developed, will include modern career and technical studies that are aligned with high-wage and high-growth jobs in the state, according to the law. Ohio has started distributing grants totaling almost $200 million through the state's new Career Technical Construction Program, which will expand career technical education across the state. Others are trying to make it easier for tradespeople to get experience on the job. To address a plumber shortage in the state, lawmakers in Louisiana are considering a bill that would loosen the regulatory restrictions. The effort would allow tradesmen plumbers to perform more work independently without direct supervision from a master plumber. I mean, that's a good idea. Every apprentice needs a journeyman to look over their work. Sometimes there's a ratio you can have, like maybe a journeyman can have 2 or 3 apprentices under their work underneath them. But yeah, I mean, I don't know about a master plumber. Just journeyman would be fine to watch the apprentice. There's also been a federal push to make job training programs more accessible. House lawmakers recently introduced bipartisan legislation that would allow students to apply for Pell Grants for short-term workforce programs. America's always been a skills-based economy, so it's critical that we retool the Pell Grant to match the education needs of both students and employers. Representative Virginia Fox, Republican in North Carolina, said in a statement. Yeah, and once all the jobs, all the building of things got sent to China and all the factories shut down, you didn't need as much of a skilled workforce. So bringing those jobs back and building things in the Western countries, Canada, United States, that's important. We shouldn't have all of our manufacturing away overseas because it does nothing for the people here to have good paying jobs and a skill set. Combating trade career stigma remains a challenge. For decades, Americans have viewed a college degree as the gold standard for workers, a sure path to a better life. As attitudes towards higher education changed and negative stigma around trades careers became prevalent, we have created a perception that if you're not pursuing a 4-year college degree, you are not setting yourself up for economic success, and that is certainly not the case, said Mabel. To change that perception, Mabel said it's important to expose young people to opportunities in trade occupations early on. He thinks that will require a much more robust career counseling system across the U.S. Other school districts are combating stigma by holding career signing days that celebrate high schoolers heading into skilled trades. It's an opportunity to honor those students with the same fanfare that's typically associated with future college athletes. Joseph Ramirez, a welder who decided against a 4-year college degree, said on News Nation's Morning in America Tuesday that going into trades opened new doors and helped him avoid student loan debt. That's true, 100%. I didn't have to have any kind of student loan debt when I did my apprenticeship or when I went through my schooling. Going to school and coming out with debt, that's just ridiculous as far as I'm concerned. Compared to a 4-year degree, it was a 20-week program, 450 class hours, where we're doing theory-based training. We're in a welding booth practicing with competent people that have real-world experience. Yes, the instructors will be tradesmen that have been out in the job force and they just want an easier job. It's like that at a lot of trade schools. They'll have actual journeymen come in from the field where they were working. Maybe they don't want to be out in the field anymore. And they want to relax a bit in the, in a nice day shift job, teaching, people from a book. And I could see that too. That's quite appealing to me. Once I get older, I wouldn't mind doing something like that. Teaching is great. I like passing on my knowledge to apprentices. There are some signs the skilled trades are starting to see a broader resurgence. Thinking of trade school, here's how costs and earnings stack up. In 2023, the number of students enrolled in vocational-focused community colleges rose 16% to its highest level since 2018, according to the National Student Clearinghouse data. Nationally, the number of active apprentices has more than doubled since 2014, although the U.S. lags far behind other developed countries like Germany and Canada. Surveys suggest the vaunted bachelor's degree is starting to lose its luster. Last year, a Wall Street Journal NORC poll found 56% of adults think a 4-year college is not worth the cost. Americans' confidence in higher education has also dropped. And nearly half of parents would like to see more non-college alternatives. Hey, good for them. Several major companies have eliminated degree requirements in recent years. A study from the Burning Glass Institute found that the share of jobs requiring a college degree fell from 51% in 2017 to 44% in 2022. Oh, that's the end of that. But yes, good for them. Yeah, anybody thinking about going into college, double check. Double check going into a trade. It may hurt at first because the apprentice wage is much less than a journeyman, but you'd use those years to learn. What's with that, Alex? What's with the humph? DJ, you want to earn a baccalaureate degree so you can provide services to waifus prior to marriage. Well, that sounds good to me. But I think that, you got to combat the stigma that, look, if you don't have a mechanic, you can't get your car fixed. If you don't have an HVAC guy, you're going to, overheat in the summer and freeze in the winter because they do all the heating and ventilation and all that. And you need welders because, put bridges together and get them welded up. Any kind of stuff like that. A good humph. College is the Play-Doh fun factory of corporate conformity. Yes. So I don't know what it's like at American colleges, but Canadian colleges, the one I went to, the trades college I went to, it was great. It was awesome. We had different people learning the different trades all around, and it was a pretty big campus, but it was all dedicated to the trades. It was great. I mean, it was a good time, and it was not expensive at all. It was very inexpensive to learn. I think my tuition per month was like $110 just for tuition, and then books were extra. But still, that was excellent. No student debt, nothing like that. Okay, moving along here. Found this today. The U.S. and China plan talks on economic growth, including manufacturing overcapacity issue, Yellen says. And this is by the Canadian press. The U.S. and China agreed to hold talks that will address a key American complaint about China's economic model, Treasury Secretary Janet Yellen said on second day of an official visit to China. The two sides will hold more talks and create two new economic groups dedicated to growth in domestic and global economies, as well as anti-money laundering, according to a U.S. statement about the creation of the groups. Yellen, who started her 5-day visit in one of China's major industrial and export hubs, has focused thus far on what the U.S. considers to be unfair Chinese trade practices in talks with senior Chinese officials. Do you think they're going to change the way they do things? Really? Do you think going over there and talking to them and being like, you really shouldn't do this? You're going to be like, yeah, shut up, get out of our country. They're not going to listen. Like, what do you think's going to happen? In her statement, Yellen said she and her counterparts agreed that the U.S. and China will hold intensive exchanges on balanced growth in the domestic and global economies. These exchanges will facilitate a discussion about macroeconomic imbalances, including their connection to overcapacity, and I intend to use this opportunity to advocate for a level playing field for American workers and firms. Yeah, I'm sure you will. I'm sure you really will. The announcement of the groups come after 2 days of extended meetings between Yellen and Vice Premier He Lifeng on Friday and Saturday. Yellen said these exchanges on balanced growth in the domestic and global economies are key to allowing us to deepen our understanding of China's policies, continue to express our concerns I have done in my meetings with Vice Premier He. Earlier state media coverage of her trip had dismissed U.S. concerns over overcapacity as a pretext for tariffs. The official Xinhua news agency Friday night that while Yellen's trip is a good sign that the world's two largest economies are maintaining communication, talking up Chinese overcapacity in the clean energy sector also smacks of creating a pretext for rolling out more protectionist policies that shield U.S. companies. Yellen told reporters during an Alaska refueling stop en route to China that the U.S. won't rule out tariffs to respond to China's heavily subsidized manufacturing of green energy products. Well, yes, they're communists. The government owns every corporation there is part of the Chinese government. Of course they're going to be subsidized. I mean, give your head a shake. And she knows this too. And I know she's not being taken seriously over there. She's a woman. The Chinese men aren't going to listen to a woman telling them what to do. They're going to be like, yep, go away. And next week on Janet Yellen's hot tub party, Vladimir Putin stops by. I would just like to thank you, Janet, for inviting me over here to this hot tub party. Chinese government subsidies and other policy support have encouraged solar panel and EV makers in China to invest in factories, building far more production capacity than the domestic market can absorb. The massive scale of production has driven down costs and ignited price wars for green technologies, a boon for consumers and efforts to reduce global dependence on fossil fuels. But Western governments fear that capacity will flood their markets with low-priced exports threatening American and European jobs. Read that again. But Western governments fear that the capacity will flood their markets with low-priced exports. Western governments are afraid that the capacity will flood their markets with low-priced exports. I don't think we are scared about low-priced exports coming in, or is it the oil companies that are scared of the low-priced solar panels that people are going to buy to cut our dependency on having oil? I sometimes wonder. I'm not much of a tin foil hat kind of guy. It's just, you just got to try to call out the obvious, or at least ask questions about it. The biggest question is, who benefits? Who's going to benefit? And if you can follow the money as to who's going to benefit, then you can find out their reasoning for it. The U.S. has made efforts through legislation and executive orders to wean itself off of certain Chinese technologies in order to build out its domestic manufacturing capabilities. Many members of the White House and Congress view the actions as important to maintaining national security. Well, yes, having China, your competitor, build your microchips and all that kind of stuff, that sounds kind of dumb to me. You should probably build them so you can have them on your continent, in your country, and you don't have to wait for a boat to come over across the ocean. You're more of an aluminum foil hat kind of guy? Yeah, okay, I could see that. It's a little lighter, tin foil a little heavier, aluminum a little lighter. I'd like to have one of them gold foil hats, though. That would be fun. A little heavy, but yeah, you'd reflect a lot of light from that. Keeps aliens from reading your mind. Good thinking. You'd enter Janet Yellen's bathtub. Power is sexy. Oh, hello, Janet. Nice to see you. Where did I leave off here? The $280 billion CHIPS and Science Act passed in 2022 to boost the semiconductor industry and scientific research in a bid to create more high-tech jobs in the United States and help better compete with China. Additionally, last August, U.S. President Joe Mushhead signed an executive order to block and regulate high-tech U.S.-based investments going towards China. Yellen moves on to Beijing on Saturday afternoon for more meetings over the weekend with senior officials, economists, and nation's central bank governor. I mean, big deal. China's not going to listen to the United States, and they're going to just do what they want. Yeah, it's a worthless trip. It really is. It's a waste of taxpayer money, but she gets to travel around the world. So there you go. Mushhead. Yes. Yeah, I called him Joe Mushhead. All right. So, as you guys saw, the title of the stream, Safety First. And I may just, automatically assume that everyone works safely at their job, and I guess I shouldn't do that. I've been working for a lot of years, and I haven't always worked safe, but as you get older and all that, you decide that, maybe it's not worth dying, and the company doesn't care about you. Doesn't matter what company you work at, they really don't care. You're going to get hurt, and they'll just hire somebody else. So it's not worth getting hurt. It's always best to work safe. And with that, I have a story to tell you all. It's story time. It's story time. Something that happened to me earlier in the week. I guess yesterday. Or was it last week? It was last week. Anyway. Ask any coal miner how much companies care. Exactly. You got her, David Glenn. You got it. Here you go. Okay, so where I am at, I need to use Scott air packs when we do any kind of line break. When you're pulling apart a flange, disconnecting any tubing or anything, because of the chemicals and the nature of them, hydrogen sulfide is extremely deadly. You can take one inhale of it and pass out, and that's it, and then you're dead. Carbon disulfide is highly flammable. It has a very low flash point. So any kind of spark or heat will start it on fire, and woof, that's it. You're burning. So, keeping that in mind, these Scott air packs, very handy. And it's a piece of essential equipment that we use all the time. I was asked to do a job where I needed to remove a valve. And I was like, well, okay, it's a little late in the day. It's about 2:30. I leave at 3 o'clock, but they asked me to do it at 2:30. Okay, yeah, all right. You know, you guys want me to do it, I'll do it. You know, if I have to stay late, I'll do that too. And I was going to get an air pack, right? An SCBA. And I grabbed it and I went to put it on. And as you guys can see, this isn't a picture of the one, but so this is the buckle that goes across your waist. Well, I couldn't get that apart. Something had happened to this buckle that had caused it to just not work. Like it would not release, no matter what I did. And the frustration set in, and I just realized that it made me, it set me off, because it was like somebody used this before me and they did not tag it out when it was found to be defective. Number one thing is, for safety equipment, if it's defective or broken or missing parts, tag it out, tell somebody, and by that somebody I mean tell your supervisor, manager, safety operation, or safety manager, operations manager, anybody. So I had to grab this. I took it. I put a tag on it that said, don't use it, the buckle is broken. And then I went back and I got another one, which was fine. But it was just having this buckle broken, and someone just didn't even bother to tag it, anything like that. They just put it back and waited for the next guy to use it. It's like, how do you feel about this? You know, you've done this. Your fellow worker has to go out somewhere dangerous, and if he has to do it in a hurry, you know, it's not going to work well. He's going to be wondering why this thing's not buckling up, and he's going to, you know, have a hard time. But yeah, that happened to me last week, and it got me really hot under the collar. I really let those guys have it. The next day, well, because I was so hot under the collar, they canceled the job. They're like, look, you're in no shape to do this job. We'll do it tomorrow. And I was like, all right, fine. We'll do it tomorrow. So I went home. In the morning meeting, I let the guys have it. I said, listen, you can't do this. Anything that's broken, you have to let myself or one of the managers know that it's broken. Tag it. Take it out of service. You leave it for the next guy. You know, do you want him to die? Do you want the next guy to get hurt? It should not be like that, but that's what happened. And I was very, very upset that something like that happened, especially with a piece of safety equipment that is so vital. You know, these things are, we have usually about 1, 2, 3, so 4 workers, including myself, and we have like 6 SCBAs and 5 SCA packs, these little packs. Well, there's more than enough. There's more than enough to go around. But it's just when you're dealing with something so deadly, you really need to have everybody on board with tagging stuff out, making sure that people are given a heads up when things are not in tip-top working condition. But I got some pictures for you guys on a different note. That's a bit of my rant there. I was pretty hot under the collar about that. Yes, moving along. Did take some new pictures today. I got some to show you. Hope you guys will like them. I just have to find them. I swear I threw them on here. If not, I'll have to show them to you next week. But try to pull this over here so I can get a better look at it. And make that a little smaller. Maybe I downloaded them to the computer, but I didn't transfer them to this USB. Darn it. I thought I remembered doing that. Just taking a peek around here. No. Okay, well, I do have other ones here we can look at. Because speaking of safety, I don't know if you guys have seen, a lot of you newer viewers probably haven't seen some of my other pictures of safety related items. Gotta say, some of them are pretty crazy. Let's see. That. Drag this onto here. Let's do a capture. There we go. Anybody see anything wrong with this picture? So this up at the top here is a giant drum digester, and it has seals that go between the rotating area and the stationary area. And when they would put wood chips in, a little bit would leak out at a time, so you'd get a little bit leaking out, a little bit. Well, they didn't come down here for a while, and they saw, and then I did, and I was like, wow, look at this. You've got a giant mound of wood chips, and it's blocking the exit door. So yeah, that's a hazard. You can't get to the door quick enough. Also, this is a big hazard itself because it's dry wood chips. And you know, if it's got any Well, it looks like there's some garbage at the bottom too, but if it's got any compostable stuff in it, like stuff that makes its own heat as it breaks down, this will smolder and eventually it would probably start on fire. Here's a fun one. This guy was dumping out some of the bales into the garbage bins, but I think he went too far or too fast, or maybe he tried to slide him off and hit the brakes, because he got stuck like that. And there's another shot there. So they called me out because I can operate the crane, and I had to wheel up with the crane and sort of pick him up and let him back down again softly. There it is. So he tried to dump these bales in there, but they took him with it. They were just too heavy. And he got out of his stability triangle and it slid, and it just tilted the forklift over. There's another good shot. It's just stuck there. You can see there's some oil that leaked out of it on the ground already from the engine. And there's another shot. Like, that back end is pretty high up in the air. There's another shot. So, yeah, I had to hook around the counterweight with the crane, lift him up a little bit. Our grapple came out and took these off his forks, and then I let it down with the crane. And once that's it, let it down, and then it had to get checked out. Here's a good one. Got to use the old tie strap around the air fitting, because, you know, why use a proper clamp when you can just grab one of these? I couldn't believe when I saw that. I was like, you got to be kidding me. But this is what happens when operators do their own maintenance and stuff like that. They just grab whatever and they're like, yeah, that's good. I asked the operators, hey, what happened here? They're like, oh, we don't know. It just came apart. Oh, okay. So obviously they ran into this outlet, smashed the box. So that one had to be fixed up. This is for anybody that is trying to fool people that they are a welder. Because we have guys that are proper welders. They don't lie about their credentials. That is not a proper weld. That is disgusting. That will not stay together. That is garbage. That is also garbage. You have no... It's cold. It's like it's cold welded. Like he didn't even melt the bottom of the material that he was going into. And porosity. Like, turn your gas on. Same with that one. That just looks awful. And you can see I got the welder that was on my crew to look over these, and he marked it. Re-weld this, re-weld this, re-weld this. You know, he had been a welder for, I don't know, 20, 30 years, so he knew what he was doing. This other guy, he just lied that he was a welder, because he wasn't. But the company believed him. Here's another thing I found out. A railing with a crack in it. And the operators thought it was okay just to grab some tie straps and fix it up that way. So there you go. You've got a railing that's supposed to be able to hold the weight of a person held on with plastic tie wraps. So I got my welder to fix that up. Once again, another one broken right there. This one is wild. Like, there's no way this should get broken. This is a forklift attachment for a skid steer. I mean, look at this. It's pulled out sideways. Like, what were they doing? You know, look at that. I couldn't believe that. I just had to take pictures of it because it's just crazy the amount of damage that was there. Oh yeah, and sometimes when you're in the garbage industry, you'd see like syringes and stuff like that. I don't think there's any actual needle on the end of it, but yeah, just a syringe. We'd also get a lot of hospital waste, which we shouldn't get. So we had biohazard bags to throw stuff like this in. Biohazard or sharps boxes. So we put those in there. Once again, the forklift attachment. This time where it clips onto the fork. They ripped it right out of there. Like, look at that. That's crazy. I don't know what they were doing. Just the damage that gets done. And this is people that don't care. They don't care about the things around them. They don't care about their jobs. You know, they don't care that the machinery that they're using is vital for their job. You know, you need this piece of equipment for your job and you're going to wreck it. You know, that thing's almost ripped off. It's right there. You can see it's just starting to go on this other side. Yeah, David Glenn, just crazy. These things get abused a lot. Come-alongs get abused so much. You know, pulling so hard that you bend the hook. Or you pull it and if the keeper, the latch, just doesn't sit properly anymore. Those are the things that get wrecked a lot. A lot of latches get wrecked. Same with this one. I don't know if that would go back in, so that means that the hook might be stretched. Well, as soon as you stretch the hook, throw it in the garbage. Throw the hook in the garbage anyway. You can replace them, it looks like. You just gotta do these bolts here, pull it off, buy a new hook. But yeah, there's a 3/4 ton hook. That's just showing a patch I did. So a lot of the conveyors would get a lot of abuse because of all the material. Anything that would hit in the same spot would wear a hole through it. So then you'd have to patch it up. Because most of the time they didn't want to stop to do a proper patch, so you just have to make do. Metric ton. Could be a metric ton, DJ. What's going on here? Huh. It wants to pop up. Okay. Yeah, this one is... Oh, you're not even going to play now? It's garbage. So yeah, there is some of the safety things that I've encountered. It's not ideal. Think what else. You always forget if you use Freedom units up there. We use both, DJ. So where I work at, we'll use Celsius and Fahrenheit. We use inches and metric, depending on the machine. If the machine's from Europe or something like that, I'll use metric. Here we go. Company truck. The guy that was using it parked too close to a scrap metal bin. He started to pull away. He heard something. He panicked. He hit the gas, and it just went scrape, and it scraped right along The whole side of this thing. And yeah, lots of damage. He damaged the cab. Right there. And I think I got another picture from the side here. He can't open the side. So he cut right into the door skin. Just stuff like that. Be aware. Do a walk around of your vehicle before you get in to drive. And then this won't happen. You won't run into things or have things scraping the side of the vehicle. So that was and a flat tire. That was a big ticket item. Like you're talking into the thousands, tens of thousands if you got to replace the box and all that. Oh yeah. Yeah, there's that better look at it. Like you can look right into the door. They took that just peeled it open. Galaxy Quest type stuff right there. Yeah. Little damage on the side-by-side. Nothing major. This was wild. I think this was done by a contractor we lent our scissor lift to. You see the bend in there? That's not right. Like that's terrible damage done to it. It's a picture of the battery. There you go. This is a sliding out. This part should slide out a bit. You get a little extra extension. So it's an extension for the scissor lift, so you can reach places better. I don't know what happened. I can only guess, but that should be flat together. That shouldn't be up in the air like that. Look at this. This thing is supposed to keep this extension from coming up, but that's bent out of the way. So I don't know if they landed on something or it was extended and they came down and they just kept coming down and it just lifted it right out of its slides. But yeah, that's major damage now. Now you gotta go send that away, get that redone. It's just, sometimes it's not worth lending your equipment out to contractors. There's a front view of it. Another side view. Like this should be right level with this part here. Not sticking way up like that. It's just unbelievable. They raised it with some kind of instruction or lowered it. Yeah, exactly. That's exactly what they did. Look at that. They just mangled now. And I had to get some pictures to show the bosses and all the supervisors and all that. Like, look at this. Look what they did. Let's see, did I have anything else? Oh yeah, remember I was telling you about there's the little carry deck crane. This thing was a godsend. I think every site should have something like this. Just small enough that it can sneak in to buildings and such like that. And it's got a good reach on it. And you can see the outriggers and the outrigger pads there. It's just a good handy dandy little crane. You could lift up to, with the boom extension off, you could lift, what was it now? 8.5 tons. Yeah, so you could lift, what, 15,000 pounds? Yeah, anyways, that was a good Hummus Hero. Hey, how you doing? Just showing a little bit of the machinery that was vital for me to use at the Waste Management Center. This thing here, this carry deck crane. This is the maintenance guy's best friend here. When you're pulling stuff out, gearboxes, motors, stuff like that. This thing puts a lot of hours in and saves you a lot of strain and everything. And I was pretty grateful that I was able to operate this and become one of the better operators at the plant. So if there was a job to do that required this thing, I was usually myself that was operating it. So, and I think everyone else appreciated that as well. You got her. Nice little lift, all right. Another handy dandy thing, this guy here. Telehandler, also known as a zoom boom. Very important piece of equipment. Makes lifting up things and transporting them very easy. We had a large paddle wheel that we'd have to move around and disconnect to replace. This is the guy for the job. I think this was a 12,000 pound one, and yeah, it did really well. Just picking stuff up, moving it around, getting it in place. This would be great. You could have 4-wheel steering, crab walk. I think you could some of them you can differentiate between you want the front wheels to turn or just the back wheels to turn. Looks like it has a nifty winch also. You think that's what it's called? Winch? Winch? A winch? No, this doesn't have a winch on it. Get a closer look here. You got your forks, fork attachment, your boom goes up, down, and telescopes. There's your lifting boom there. Oh. And yeah, a nice enclosed cab, keep you nice and warm. Oh, on the previous one. Okay. Yeah, you mean this one on the carry deck. Yeah, so it's back here. The drum with the wire on it is back here in this space here. I think it was 9/16 diameter cable. And yeah, it goes up here along here. I took this with my phone, so it's cut off to where the hook is, but that's the jib extension right here as well. So you can fold this jib extension back and just have this where your hook is. That gives you that little extra capacity, but you lose your radius that you can go out. But you can't have like maximum weight on maximum radius. It just doesn't work like that. Your load radius has to be, and you'd have your chart, which is right there. You can look in the door. There's your load chart. So you can measure the distance from the center pin of the rotation of the boom, and then you'd measure out from there to where your load is or where your hook is, and that's your load radius. And then you'd have to stay within a certain amount of weight on the scale, which is right there, and you'd be safe. You knew your crane wouldn't fail or topple over or whatever. You could lift the weight within that radius. Same with this thing. They'll have load radius and load charts on this thing too. The further you go away, the less heavy lift you can, or the load you can lift. You have to be aware of that too. Otherwise, you'll be going for a ride in this thing, and you don't want this thing to flip over or anything like that. But yeah, a very good, comfy enclosed cab. That's what you want. Especially, you can see there's snow on the ground at the time we were using this. So yeah, a very good machine. Something you definitely want when you're doing maintenance. Oh, here we go. Here's a view from inside the cab of the carry deck crane. So you got your scale. POL is pieces of line. When you have 2, you double it up, right? And that'll give you the correct weight. The structural integrity on NAMI strings there is amazing. Thanks, Godzillionaire. I was wondering when you were going to come by. It's nice to see you. Yes. This crane here, great crane. Great crane. Very handy. good for maintenance. Have some of your controls there. You've got your outrigger controls. Lower and raise and telescope the boom. Swinging the boom is the next one over. You can't see it though. And then your hoist, lower and raise is that big one right there, separated from the other two, or the other ones over here. So yeah, very, very important piece of equipment. Right here is another important piece of equipment. For all you one-piece fans out there. You guys know I'm a One Piece fan. Hope you are too. Any different? For those of you that haven't seen before, when you have to remove something from a dredge from a settling pond, what do you call in? Call in this guy. You call in a 140-ton crane. Or no, 400-ton crane. And the reason you call in a 400-ton crane is because you're picking up this thing, which weighs 40,000 pounds. This is a dredge. It helped suck up all the solids and all that out of the water there. And it moved these guys too, these aerators, which keep the water in the wintertime, keeps it from freezing because it just keeps it moving. And here they are getting set up. They bring in counterweights on a separate trailer. And there's the base. You can see there it says 10 tons. So just that piece is 10 tons. And there you go. It's got to reach from the road down here up and over this berm and grab the dredge right there. That is why you use a 400-ton crane. And first it lifts up the aerators to pull them out. These are only about 3,300 pounds a piece. Motor and float. Yes, David Glenn, without tipping over. I mean, we do not want to end up on YouTube for workplace fails, so these guys do an excellent job. And now he's going to lift up the dredge. They've got their slings attached. It's up in the air. They might have to cut that hose off or something because it's dragging that hose. And get it over there. Yes, Hummus, you definitely have to have a super weighted base to counterbalance. It's unbelievable. Yeah, there it is. They've got it over there. I think they're going to wash it off. There's another shot of it. So it's got a bunch of human waste on it. Right here you can see. Because that's the pond that it sat in. Right now the guy is washing it off so they can put it on the truck. Right there. It's a flat deck truck or a lowboy, I guess. They're going to put it on there. And it's going to be scrapped because it's past its useful life. It was 20 years old and it was time to replace it. There it is there. And yeah, you can see all those weights on the back here. Like, it's got that's just one section of weight. They had a whole bunch on the back end there. There we are. There's a better shot of it. You've got this weight. You've got all these weights. And you've got this one over here. So it's just the sheer amount of counterweight they needed to lift this was just amazing. And you have the crane companies come in and do that. You just call the guy in and you say, we want to lift this thing, and this is how far away it is. And he'll measure it, and he'll ask how much it weighs, and then he'll go back and he'll be like, okay, yep, you need a 400-ton crane. And that's what it got replaced with. So they took out the old one and they put in this new one. Much more modern, a little bit better. It has its own little jib crane on there for lifting the pump off and everything like that. Much better designed dredge. DJ and your Judge Dredge. I am the law. So this is when they're setting up. Very slow process. Anything with hydraulics that's that big, it's going to be slow. Slow but powerful. See if we can't speed it up here. For some reason, this doesn't want to play too much. How do you think they built the pyramids? That's up for debate. Like, I can't say for sure myself how they built the pyramids because it's just unknown. Okay, let's see. I did take some video of them lifting the dredge up. Gonna be some better one. Another one that's better than that. Imagine trying to move the capstones into place without modern English or modern equipment. I know. And that's the thing. Like, it's always going to be a mystery to me how they did it. So here it is. They've got this, they've got it up off the ground or out of the water. With lots of time. I mean, yeah, they had lots of time. Yeah, they've got to, there we go. He's turning it a bit. There we go. Got to get that guy on the tag line. Try to hold that thing. Yep, lift it up. You should be able to bring it up and over. So this might be boring, you know. A lot of people want to see things fall down and everything like that, but you never hear about the jobs that go well. You know, oh hey, successfully lifted heavy thing, and no one hurt. Everybody go home safe. It's usually what you're seeing is oh, failure of this, failure of that, people hurt, people killed, blah blah blah. I prefer to work on jobs where, hey, things are done, safe fashion, and, you know, everyone goes home safely, nothing crashes. Those are straps, DJ Ronnie G. They are endless slings. I believe that's what they use anyway. Supposedly very strong. I mean, you're seeing them lift, there's 4 of them, and they're lifting 40,000 pounds. Safety glasses for all your men. Yay! Everybody's safety glass. Yeah. Yeah, so there you go. He's letting it down. They're going to clean it and then take it away. But yes, a successfully executed job is very good. Nobody wants to get hurt. Nobody wants to have, catastrophic failure, damage, all that stuff. What was this? Oh, okay, yeah. I was just showing how. Okay, so remember I was telling you about those machines that keep the water from freezing? So there's one there. There's one there. It's running, and there's one there. These ones had ice build up, and they flipped over. So now the motor is sticking into the water. So it's not keeping this place thawed out anymore. The ice is building up. So if the ice builds up too much, this thing can't move around very much. And it's got to just like dredge in place. But it's meant to move back and forth. So what they'll have to do, take this guy, move him a little closer, or move this whole thing closer over here so the action of the waves will break up the ice and it can move through the ice. But yes, this is what an aerator does. It just has a big propeller on the end off the motor and a float, and it just stirs up the water, stirs it up so that it cannot form ice. And yeah, that's what that's all about. All right, yeah, so safety, that's what it's all about. Yeah, tiny bubbles. Yeah, exactly, David, exactly. But yeah, that's was the main point of today. Just being safe on the job site, and just make sure you're doing it for yourself, but you're doing it for other people as well, your family, your sons and daughters, your wives, anybody that anybody that you want to see and hang out with, your friends. Wear your safety glasses, wear your gloves, wear your boots, wear your hat, all that stuff. And wear a face shield when you have to. It's amazing how many people get cut up by cut off wheels because they're not wearing a face shield. It's like the agitator in Washington. You got her, hummus. That's exactly, yeah. Just agitates the water, and it just makes it so no ice can form. But yeah, just make sure you guys wear your safety glasses and all that kind of good stuff. Think about it. Wear a respirator if you need to. You don't want your lungs to clog up and give you trouble breathing, because not being able to breathe really sucks. Wear your earplugs, because losing your hearing as you get older is not good either. Myself, I have tinnitus in my left ear, so I have a constant ringing in my left ear. It's with me 24/7. I can't get away from it. And it's all because of not wearing earplugs when I should have. So make sure you do that too, because it's important to be able to hear things rather than sitting there and not understanding what people say. You can be more active in your conversations with people if you can at least understand what they're saying. Apparently, DJ loves the smell of epoxy in the morning. I love the smell of epoxy in the morning. Yeah, that's pretty much it. If you guys can think of other things you should do for safety, let me know. And then don't forget to do them yourself, because it's not just for you, it's for other people as well. You get hurt, somebody has to come and take your job for you. You get hurt, your family has to deal with the consequences. Maybe they don't drive. Maybe your wife doesn't drive. Maybe, now you were the sole provider. Now you're going to have hard times. William Shatner is the spokesman for tinnitus? I did not know that. So him and I got something in common then. Other than he's a better actor than I am. Oh, and he's also 90, I think. Yeah. But yeah, I'm going to wrap her up now there, everybody. I really appreciate you guys coming out. I hope you had a good time. I know I did. Just remember, pass along the word there. Let everybody know that old Pop here is... I'm here on Saturdays and Sundays in the morning and on Tuesdays at 7 p.m. Mountain Time. I just want to thank you guys for coming out. I really appreciate it. Please hit the like button, subscribe if you haven't already, and spread the word. Tell everybody, hey, there's this guy. He's in the trades. He talks about the trades on Tuesdays, plays games on Saturdays, and anime on Sundays. So let him know. There's other good channels out there too. People I've watched and enjoy, like Pacific 414. Mike's got a good channel. Blaine's Escape Corner, who's probably streaming right now. I think he's doing some Gunpla. There's Ronin66, DJ Ronnie G, who I saw you in the chat. DJ Ronnie G is good because he does lots of astronomy and turtles and just all sorts of tech stuff. And so I've seen him build some Gundams on stream too. There's Brandon the Anime Guy. I was watching him before I started streaming today. He's very good if you want to watch learn about anime from Brandon. There's Angry Canadian. He's got some excellent streams as well. He was doing Sonic this morning before I went to work. I watched a bit of that. That was on Rumble, but he's got a YouTube channel too, where I seen him build Lego, and he does awesome game music streams where he analyzes the music from games. There's Woopa Troopa. I like watching his chill streams when he's gaming. And Punk Waddle. You can find him at Floral from Under a Rock on Snowdub's channel, and he has his own channel. Well, you're welcome, Hummus. I'm glad you thought it was educational. I hope you enjoyed it, and I hope to see you again next time. I have a Discord. It's called The Shop, because all the tradesmen hang out at the shop. Coming up Saturday, still paying tribute to Akira Toriyama. I am playing Dr. Slump. You get to play as Aurelie, his android, and you have to go around the Penguin Village and help people out. So it's pretty funny, tongue-in-cheek humor, a little bit of potty humor. Very funny. I like it. It was done. He made Dr. Slump before Dragon Ball, so I like looking at his more obscure series. Sunday is Sunday Anime Chat. Keeping with the tradition of April Fools, we're going to watch some foolish and parody animes. It was pretty good the last time. I'm hoping to have some good ones for you guys coming up on Sunday. And then we circle around full week to next Tuesday. More trades talk, more talking about the skilled trades, how to get into them, what to expect, and some more pictures and stories from yours truly, maybe some video. And I hope to see you all there. What's that? 6 p.m. What? You're going to be on Pacific 414 tomorrow, DJ Ronnie G. So tune in to Pacific 414 at 6 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time. Yeah, it's not Eastern Standard Time. It's Eastern Daylight Time, DJ. So that is 4 o'clock my time. I should be able to see you. I look forward to that. That's all, everyone. And I hope to see you all on Saturday coming up. Thanks a lot. Really appreciate it. And until next time, everyone, I've been Pop, and I am signing off.